Good evening. Welcome. It's a great pleasure to welcome you all tonight, and it's also a real pleasure to be able to welcome Francis Kéré to the GST. We have been talking to Francis for a few years about welcoming him here, and I'm glad that this has finally happened. Some of you might know that I have been involved with the steering committee of the Aga Khan Awards for architecture for many years. And even though one doesn't get too directly involved in the selection of the projects, you do get the chance to review the projects and to participate, you know, in all the discussions and everything. We see hundreds of projects during each one of these cycles. On average, I would say we see about 400 plus projects during each cycle. And the process is extremely rigorous because the projects are seen by a jury, they're shortlisted, then there's a technical jury that goes to visit the projects, and then they bring back their report to the main jury, and then of course they finally select something like 5 to 7 projects during each cycle. So during these past 10 years or so, I have seen a lot of projects, and there are many memorable projects, but there are a few projects during this time that really leave a true mark, and you remember them very well. And during this period, I think there are 2 projects that I could mention because their authors are also here in the audience. The one project is really a project that was done by Anna Henger, who is one of our Loeb Fellows here at the GSD. And we are so fortunate to have Francis Kéré because before, in 2004, I think, the first project that he did, which is the school in Burkina Faso, was the winner of the Aga Khan Awards for architecture. This project was both interesting from the perspective of the quality of its design, the way in which it responded to the needs of the community, but it was also very important in terms of the way in which Francis had really created the organizational circumstances to make the project possible, because there was no money, and he was at that time, as he's now, based in Germany, and created the circumstances for really raising the money and then being able to go back to his community, his village in Burkina Faso to really realize the project. So it had, in a sense, a very, very important narrative that went with the realization of a very important project in terms of its qualities. Since then, Francis has gone on to be involved with many, many other projects, which you will see tonight, and was involved until very recently also with the TU in Berlin to really establish a strong relationship between the kind of ideas that happen in the West and what happens in a country like Burkina Faso. He describes himself as a bridge that really builds between the cultures of the West, if you like, and the cultures of Africa. His work was really very much appreciated in many different contexts. And then we have a third part of the story where another one of our Loebs this year, Andreas Lepik, who was the curator of architecture design at Museum of Modern Art, was responsible for the creation of a very important exhibition, which was a couple of years ago, which was really about small scale, big change. And the work of Francis was also one of the highlights, in a way, of this exhibition, as was in fact the work of Hashem Sarkis, one of our own faculty here. I'm very, very excited that that Francis is here. He will actually engage in a conversation with Andreas tomorrow between 12 and 2 in the pit. So if you're interested in a much more smaller scale discussion and an engagement with Francis and Andreas, you should really attend that event at 12 tomorrow. We in the school, in conclusion, just by way of planting a seed here, are very interested in, as you know, in the kinds of projects that are represented by the work of Anna and Francis and others in terms of how can we be responsible, how can we participate in a different kind of activist practice and be involved in projects that really make a big change in different parts of the world, and are very excited now that we have the studios, for example, in Paris, and next semester in Tokyo, looking at the Tohoku area of the tsunami hit area with our students, to really find ways where we can also be on the ground in various locations. And we are actually considering together with Anna, with Francis, with Andreas, with hopefully your consent, with Michael Hooper, Rahul, a number of our faculty, to try and create a kind of collaborative that would maybe come together next semester as some type of a seminar, workshop, independent study that hopefully will lead to the idea of a group of people actually traveling to Africa in the spring of next year to hopefully work with Francis and others if we can make these things happen. This is all conversation, but I just want you to know that we are using the opportunity of all these people being here in the school to really take this project to a next step and make a connection with these incredible opportunities that we have. So please talk to us and let us know what some of your thoughts and feelings are about the school actually engaging in projects in Africa on the ground. But without any further delay, please join me in welcoming Francis Kéré.
Should start? Okay. Yeah, I am here. Yesterday, I went to bed full satisfied because I get a great opportunity to have dinner meet with very, very high quality of people. I'm talking about the Loeb Fellows, and we discussed, and I was saying, wow, so many people are doing great work, and you get a chance to meet them. And I fell asleep, very happy. And then this morning, I wake up, and I realized that I was really going to give a lecture at Harvard. Howard. Oh, and Francis. So I remember that yesterday I met some student, and I remember that they were so clever. And I started to say to myself this morning, what are you going to say to show to them? You have to be clever. So I start to look at my presentation one again. And at a certain moment, I realized that I cannot invent the story. And I said to myself, when they invited you to come here, it's maybe because of what you do. And that's why I want you to know that it is a great honor for me to be here. And therefore, I'd like to say thank you, Mosem, for inviting me. Yeah. I will talk about me and my people. And myself, I am Francis Kéré, and I am a native of Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, it's, how can I say, it's a country in which today, 2011, more than 80% of the population are neither able to read nor write. And this country, most of the people never heard the term of architecture or architecture. I don't need to say to you that only few knows what Howard means. Maybe it's a kind of food. Ladies and gentlemen, in this part of the world, people build housing. Due to the lack of income, one cannot afford a technician. People just build the house by themselves. And as a plan, they just copy the house, the new house in their neighborhood. Ladies and gentlemen, dear student, dear colleague, in this part of the world, people are happy when you happen to build them a wall which is straight and able to stand a rainy season. This is the world where I'm coming from. I hope I don't need to explain to you how great a privilege it is for me to be standing here today. From Gando, my home village, to Berlin in Germany to become an architect and to have the opportunity to stay here. It is a big, big step. Education, higher education, is still a dream for millions of people from my home country. So I guess you will accept what I'm trying to say to you, and you will not expect from me a lecture about modern architecture and about a solution to change our world. I will show you in some pictures what I'm just trying to do with my people. This is Ouagadougou, the capital city of Burkina Faso. There, some 2 to 3 or 4 million people are living. Nobody knows exactly what it is. And left, they call it informal, and right, they call it formal. I don't know the difference between formal and informal. What I know is that a lot of people are leaving the countryside and going to Ouagadougou, the capital city, and looking for better life. These people just come and they build their houses, like you can see. They don't need somebody to show them what to do or to give them a job. They create their job themselves, like you can see, like that. So, but the government said, this is illegal, this is informal. They just break the structure down and try to build housing like that. Housing in which you need this to be able to stay inside. Dear student, dear colleague, I think this is a wrong solution for the country which belongs to the poorest in the world. We don't have that money for electricity. This is a reality in Burkina Faso, in Ouagadougou, the capital city. Infrastructure is a big, big problem. To provide the people with water is a challenge for the government. And you, maybe you are in Burkina Faso, you have a low income, you would use this to keep Water, clean water. That is the reality. I would like to bring you in a village where every African is coming from. I am from a village. And there are traditional housing. This is a big compound, a middle one, small one, a very tiny one. There, people are living from agriculture and the solidarity. Being together is a guarantee to survive. And generations are living there. An example is you cannot really leave the compound. And here, he was living inside. He thought he was under pressure. So he tried to move. He moved from this big and sat himself here to escape the pressure. You understand what happened? You stay with the community, and you stay together, and you live. Today, you have problems. Tomorrow, everything is okay. And so, villages are working in my home country. Architecture. It's look like that. It is beautiful, I may say. Allowed me to say that. But to make it, it's very easy. There is no need for complicated drawings. People just stand and say, okay, I'm building my house. Their friend join them, and you start to build. You build. But what you do because the rain is coming, so you have to protect the houses with plaster against rain. When again, you stand up. You go to the forest looking for a big tree to have a product to protect the houses. But nature is not a factory. You cannot get enough color, enough protection from one tree for a big compound. So you use different color. That's why the compound is looking so colorful. But sometimes you use bitumized product to protect the house. Look at what happened after a rainy season. Everything changed. And by the way, the compound has growing. And a compound in my home country is made to grow and shrink when there is necessity. And at the same time, it has to live with the rainy season and the dry season. This is a big, big store. Here you can get everything. You can get cigarette, you can get something to wash your clothes, you can get medicine. This is aspirin, paracetamol, I know it very good. This are peanuts. This is pastilles. And you can get petrol. You also can get wine from Italy and wine from Spain. By the way, we are friends. Don't drink it. It's ship-made, so when you drink a lot, you get headaches. But what I'm saying to you is, when this big store crashed down, there is no insurance. People just stand on again, they build it within 4, 5, 6, 10 days. Clay buildings, in my tradition, work in a small size. That's what I try to say to you. Clay suffer from water. Upcoming water is destroying the walls. Please, when you happen to be, don't say to my people that this is beautiful and this is comfortable. This is housing for poor people, that we say to you. So think about it. They have to make repairs every year after every rainy season. So fire is destroying the houses, like you can see. This is a typical school building in Burkina Faso. Today, still today, inside the class, you have on top corrugated iron. I can touch it like that. And this is reality. And myself, I sat in a class like this with more than 150 other children. And this is the reality. You can imagine the temperature inside a building like that when it is 40 degrees outside. That is reality in Burkina Faso. It is not a place to teach people, but I think it's more a place to cook bread. So I was lucky to attend education and to attend higher education in Germany. And like you, I wanted to change my world. I wanted to make it better. So I was asked by the community to look for sponsor, to look for somebody who can help them to build a school. Because the old one was on the way to be destroyed by the rain. So I had a plan. Because I was a student, I wanted to use my skills to do it as a third-year student. But what you do when you are a third-year student, you have a big, big heart for your community. But you don't have that money to do the project. That was my biggest challenge in my life as architect, the first biggest challenge. So I said, well, I will look for somebody who has that money. And people start to send me everywhere. Go and check. She has a good foundation. Oh, this institution has that money. And this and this and this. So at a certain moment, I stopped and said, okay, I have to find another way. Because some people start to say, you have to wait, finish studying, doing your thesis, and doing that. But I couldn't wait. Remember, 80% illiteracy. I couldn't. So I had to find another way. We've created an association, something like a foundation. And the first thing was people tried to make a photograph of me, making me older so I will look serious. And this, it doesn't help to get this money. I start to run, and I start to ask my colleague at university. But you will be surprised. We managed to get that money, something like $50,000 to build a project, using the power of the people, like you can see. And this is the first school, my first building. And I did it as a student. And it is completely made by clay. Oh, of course, I have to be honest to you, because you are expert. You're going to be expert, maybe. We put a little bit concrete, cement inside, 6 to 8%. But what is 6 to 8% in comparison when you have 100%? When you have $100 and you give $8 away, you still have 92, huh? Okay. Of locally available material. That is the fabric. And the roof was made by corrugated iron and rebars, because we have termite in Gando. Very dangerous. When you start to build with wood, you put a roof structure by wood, I can say to you, you can hear the termite celebrating a party. Food is coming, really, really. That is it. So we was forced to find another solution, and we built it, like you can see. And so I just want you to see how we made it. We had at the school site, we have a little hill made by rocks. We just collected them, the women, younger, old people, and we put them to make the basement. It helps save money. And you see the power. We don't need a crane. we have a lot of young, dynamic people. This is the school building 10 years later, after we built it. It's looked like the first day, the same day. It comes without maintenance. And this is inside. No more corrugated iron. Instead of that, we have a ceiling made by rebars and clay bricks. We have a vegetable garden in the school. At the school, of course, not everybody will go forward. Not every child from Gando will come to Harvard. But when you give them a tool, when you teach them at school to grow vegetable, they will learn easily. And when they grow up, they will use these techniques to feed themselves. That's what I'm doing. It is not only architecture. But, dear colleague, dear student, how to explain drawings, plans to people who are neither able to read nor write? That is always the biggest challenge I have. So we make very simple drawings, like in the kindergarten, or we draw on the bottom, and we make very, very simple section, like you can see. But this is not enough, because engineering, to understand engineering, you have to be able to read. But what I do to make people understand what I'm doing is to try to make them trust in what I have to do, what I'm doing. And I do it like that. We make a big model. Most of the time, one by one. From here to here is 9 meters, 30. And normally, I don't have something where I can jump. I am the first to jump on top. Look at, it is working. And then my staff, people are coming one by one. One by one, they come, and that's me. And to show that it's working. But what you cannot see here, it is this picture. Can you see this? You can't imagine how much people are sitting here and looking to us. The entire village is looking to what's happening. You have a crash, no good technology. No crash, oh, great idea. That is what happened. The village is looking to you, and you have to find a way how to make them trust in the new thing you are bringing to the village. And this way of trying to make them trust in techniques become a celebration. After we build a small building, everybody wants to come on top and check it. But engineering has limitation. You have a small vault, and you have more than 10, 20 people who want to come on top. So you have to find a way how to keep them away from coming on top. But without saying, it is dangerous. Oh, there is a risk. It can break down. No good technique. So what I'm doing all the time is to try to find a solution to bring them away from it without saying that it will break. And fortunately, I can say to you, still today, nothing happened like that. It's working. One again is teacher housing. After we built the school, I was forced to build teacher housing because nobody wanted to stay. A teacher don't want to stay in a village. And we built it. We made a design for a compound. And this is the result today. These are toilets, shower, toilet, shower, toilet, 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 toilet. You can see it. Away from the building. It is hot, and when it starts to do like that, nobody will use it anyway. So that is what you have to do when you made a design there. It is a compound for teacher. It's today, still work. Look like that. Made by clay, made by the people, with myself. an example. Always the money was the problem, and I'm happy that Dean Mosen noticed. But it doesn't mean that when you have less financial means, you cannot do a big project. These are housing for 8 teachers, and it cost me less than $40,000 at that time. And what we do is, you have this. You bring the water from the roof, you bring it here, you have a canal, and it comes, it can go something there. So no need to build a water basin, which will cost a lot of money. To save water, to keep water in this area, it's complicated. So first, I have the building, I have the water away. When I have more money, I can build the water reservoir somewhere there. But the building would work. So that's how I work, how I design, and how I work with the people. And inside, very simple. And it worked. 2 years after we built the school and the teacher housing, so we have more students than expected. We built the first school for 200 pupils. And suddenly we had more than 300 who wanted to be educated. I was forced to build an extension. And here I will show you very quick how we use primitive tools to make a vault, very complicated techniques. Look at this, double layer vault. So we made it, like you can see, very easily, and this is the result. And people can be educated. Even animals love these buildings. And the children are using every corner of the building. Today, my schools belongs to the best in Burkina Faso. Not I am saying this. No, the people are saying this. And the result of their work is saying this. And then what they get as present from the government is saying this. And the people are proud. You can see it, really proud. It is our work. Normally, when somebody from the government comes to the village, people are looking like this and going far away. Oh, we have to go to the chief, we have to explain it to the village chief. But now, when you come, they just come and pick you like that. So we do this, we made this brick, they're really, really proud of that, what I do. So that is what you can do with a little project. Rise proudly. But you need education. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, the difference between your culture, between the culture of most of you here and mine. We don't have education, modern education. We don't have the opportunity to attend higher education. You need education to be able to design something like that. And you need education to have a global idea of a project, to be able to be flexible, you know what I mean? Now I am going to show you very quick how we happen to introduce traditional techniques in a building, a modern building, like a school. It is clay. So it's kind of like you can see. And the young people, like you can see, are staying like that. And they're bidding. Hours, and still the women comes. They're the specialists, but they came there like this. Hours and hours. And what you can see, you see is here, a musician, another one. They make this without water level, without nothing. And what I have learned from my people is that, yes, of course, we love music. But what I have learned is music is a great thing, a great part of culture, of living, of working also. For example, my friend from Switzerland is sitting here. He's stronger than me. Dean Mosen is also stronger than me. Maybe I am stronger than she here. So, and you are stronger than I. And everybody is beating on his corner. We beat. We are different. But with the music, the beat, at a certain moment, the weakest, the strongest are the same. So you happen to have a very, very flat, without water level, because they don't know this in my tradition. But how they do it, it is the same result. And I had to learn from them. You have specialists giving water. It is dry. On the other comes the polisher. They make it like you can see, like you can see. And you have this result from here to here. And I hope you believe me, it is not Photoshop, really. Really, really, really. And it's like that. My very, very first project as architect was this building, high school building in 2006, made by laterite. It is not clay. Laterite is something between clay and rock. It is a magical material. Let me say it like that. You dig it out from the earth, it becomes hard in contact with the air. It contains a lot of iron, and that's how. And it's easy to handle. And I was contracted to build a high school, and I got in total 70,000 euro in 2006 for this project, including my traveling and my everything. And this is my stuff, what I have. This is Kabila. When you have a project like that and you have a tiny budget, you need people who can fight, doing bargaining, going to the market, and buy more with less means. And that is the job of Kabila. It's great. And this is Baba. And this is the son of Baba, the second generation. This is Amede. Amede, I may say, is one of the best workers you have in the world, in my world. This is Kuyombo, the musician. Kuyombo is the best of the best in my staff. Kuyombo is the musician. Kuyombo calls everybody to come and work. And when everybody is tired, Kuyombo is the one who is making music for everybody. And the next day, he's there. And Kuyombo is great. When you have friends from Europe and you have a camera, then Kuyombo starts to do like that, to show his muscle. So they're so proud, and with the help of these people, we do great things. All my social buildings are being set up with the help of these people. And I forgot somebody. Benjamin is the best of the best builder you have in the world. Believe me, he's great. Yeah, this is laterite. You get it, like you can see? And we want to go from this to have this and have wall like that. And, excuse me. So you bring it at the building site with a big, big lorry, like you can see. You start to cut it, like you can see. Look at, clack, clack, clack. You cut it with primitive tools. And you layer it, or you put them on the bottom to have a floor. And I had some time to stop and come back to Europe. I made small model. My people stay and they make the welding work under a big mango tree, not in a big factory. And they put them together, like you can see. Amede is making the final cut on the roof. And this is the high school finish. Laterite, corrugated iron, and rebars, not more. People can be educated. But before you build, you have to communicate it with people. You have drawing, they're beautiful. And then you start to talk with the people, or you have to learn to talk to the people. And suddenly, the director tells you of the school, tell you, you need this way, you have to close all of that because he want to have a safe place. And from the village, you learn from the people that somewhere here are symmetry. And it is good when the people from the village are going through the symmetry. So they go and they get knowledge. And when they don't go through the ancestor, this is nothing. So they have to pass there. What you do, you cannot say, no, no, no. No, you start to talk with them. You say, okay, instead of building 6 classes, I just built 4. And I open it everywhere. And you say to the villagers, look at, this is open. Even I will manage to bring the ancestor inside the classroom. What I'm talking about it are things, when you build in my culture, you have to take care about them. It's not. I don't talk about it because I like to talk about it. This is important. It's more than building regulation. And then you have it. You have this place, like that. They just come and say, oh, it's very open. What is teaching there will stay forever because it's open for us, even for the ancestor. And that is it. I'll talk about a little ventilation when you're okay. You are okay? You're still here? Okay? Good. So I'm trying to work with double layer roof. You have it. And a light roof, a massive one. And then you have opening there. When you take the cut in the temperature section in the class like that, in a room like that, the hottest place is on top, of course, because hot air is lighter than cold air. It is going on the top of the building. What I'm doing is to open it so the hot air can circulate. And with this inclination of the roof, you have the air circulating and taking the inside air like that out. That is what I'm doing, and not complicated. So you can see openings, and that is it. Now, from Gando, a little village in Burkina Faso, I am asked to do big project like this one. And it is a park in Bamako, in Mali. And I got these pictures from a great photographer called Ivan Ban. We was last year together, I think this year, and with a great student from this school called Caroline. And I was happy to know them because he's an incredible photographer. And when she's here, I don't know, but she's a great writer. She made a fantastic report in Demos. When you want to know more about this project, you can check Ivan Ban or look for Demos. But anyway, I was asked to do the project. And I came to Mali without tight and without big boo-boo. So the people start to say, we have 6 architects. And now this guy is coming, and they said he's the biggest, he's the most important architect. He's the head of this project now. But he can do nothing. He didn't wear tight and don't have a big boo-boo. So I just came and said to the people, let's go to the market. Let's check what we have. They said, why? We want to do it with concrete. Only concrete. Say, yes, but let's look at what we can do else. that was really, really, really discouraged. But I didn't give up. So we start to make drawings. And this is the park. We have a main entrance, secondary entrances, and a restaurant, and a sports center. And they said, okay, the drawings are okay. Let's build. You don't need to change something. I said, no, but the client hired me because he wanted me to do something exceptional. And this project was financed by Acadian. It is a foundation, Acadian network. It is a foundation made by His Highness the Aga Khan. And it is a great person. He has a great foundation, giving one of the greatest architecture prize in the world. And you cannot go and just say, okay, we put concrete. And so, you know, and I am an Aga Khan Award guy, you know what I mean? So I had a conflict. I had to prove to the giver of the Aga Khan Award that I can do something. But how to deal with people is always, will be always, even for you, a big challenge. And you have to fight. And try not to lose yourself and not to look for the easy way. No. No. Okay. Anyway, this is the result, the main entrance. Today, the park is the most visited place in Bamako. When they opened it last year in October, the first 2 weeks, they had more than 200 people to visit the park. You have to pay to visit it. And the people came and came and came. And I was last week there, and the director told me that one day they was forced to close it because they had one day more than 120,000 people. And I said to you, things happen in life. When you start to do a small project, a school, and suddenly you do something like that, you was happy with your people because they say, wow, we have the best school in the world. And now you go to Bamako in Mali, and you work with people, and you have the chance, the opportunity to do a project like that. You come, and the director just said to you, we was forced to close it. 120,000 people came to the visit. This is the result. And how I made it, I will talk about it. Design, of course, you need it. And that's what I'm saying. You have to know that you are a privileged person or lady or guy. You have the chance to attend higher education, and especially in this school. So you can do incredible things for people because you have a good tools. A lot of people don't have it. I have it a little bit. I can make drawings like that. The challenge in this project was only not to talk with the people or to convince them to use a local material to do it. It was to build the first time in the rocky side, like you can see. And we managed to do it. By night, of course. It's, by the way, the restaurant, it's called Balasoko. The general manager of His Highness told me, when they finish to build, they start to have a name for the restaurant. And some come with a long, I love French, I am a French-speaking guy, but some come and start with a long French name. Grand Restaurant du Grand Parc de Bamako, Restaurant de Luxe de l'Afrique, and then suddenly he couldn't understand it, and he went away, and then he met somebody who was working, and he asked him, what used people to do here in the past? She said, my grandfather used to run behind this animal, faire la chasse au porc-épic. Yes, to run it and then kill them and eat. So that is it. True. Sure, he said, yes. And then he called it Balasoko, house where you can get the meat of porc-épic. Yes, finished. This is the name of it, of Bambara. You got it. Not a long, long, complicated French name. Very short, very clear, and that is it. And it worked. Inside is very open, very light. And this is not only my work. I was the architect, but we had landscape architect too. You have to know it. Planning partner from Cape Town was involved in that project. And we was pushed to finish the project. Mosen is here. I cannot say something, but unless I will say that there was a meeting on His Highness with the president, and His Highness just said to the president of Mali, okay, I'm going to find what you need for this city. What can I do for you? And he said, I want to have a park. And His Highness went out and came back and said, okay, I will try to do a park for you. And then he said, but I want to inaugurate it in 2010. So that means we just had a little time to make this complicated project. And we succeed. And we had a project manager called Fabro, Roberto Fabro. I can say it very easy. Always calling to Berlin, Mr. Kere, we need this. Mr. Kere, you have to come. Mr. Kere, Mr. Kere. But don't forget that I am dealing on other projects. And one day I was so away, and I said to him, listen, I am not a supermarket. I was forced to say it, even His Highness, even all of that. But look at the user. When you see this, you forget all this battle. What I like to say to you, even in a complicated project like this, I happen to, we call it empower people. And that's what His Highness really loved the most. I said to them, let's cut a local stone and do the project. And we create a factory on the building site, and we cut this stone like you can see, and we brought young ladies, like you can see in the Islamic world, to layer the walls, like you can see. And this is the project. While we're doing it, while the walls was like this, and everybody was impressed, and even those who was waiting for me to have tight and have a big boo-boo start to make photographs. You know, we never know. It can be late. He is famous, and try to do the photographs. Mr. Fabro came and called me, Francis, His Highness wanted you to build a little clay museum in Mopti. And I didn't listen to him. And then later, he called me one again. I was talking to you. It is serious. We want to have a project. I said, okay, let's finish this project and talk about it. No. They want you just to do some drawings. No, not drawing. Bring the plan from Gando, the first school. We just build it. There is no problem. Just the old thing you have. And I was listening, and I know the foundation, because when you do a quality like this, the foundation want to hear, even in the social work, the quality regarding empowering people, about taking care to everything, they wanted to have it like this, higher and higher. And I said, no. He started one again. I said, I am not a supermarket. So, and then somebody from there in a higher position called me one again. Yeah, you know, it's like this. And I know exactly when I agree, I will fall again with Fabro, every day sending emails, fax mail and everything. Francis, we need this. They said, no, don't worry. It is just the primary school. So I agree. I send them something, and the trouble start one again. Because you can see easily here, there is no place to build. So it's a little, we fill this up to have an area to build. But this is a big mosque by clay. The city is made by clay. And this is the mosque. And now when I start with my architecture, we will be in trouble. And it started. Somebody was saying, you will hide the view of the mosque. So you start to play with the drawing, and it's time, costly, and nerve and your nerve also. This is the result. This is clay. This is clay made by Francis, coming from 2,000 meters from the building site. I introduced there a total new technology. And you have to know that most buildings, the roof, the ceiling is made by wood. And this is a problem until His Highness, the Aga Khan Foundation, wanted to show a new way, not to kill all forests, all trees. I say kill and not cut. Kill because you can't say in some region a tree is like a human being, because and that was an idea to introduce a new technology, and that's why they wanted me to do it. And this is the result. We spend time to make this a public place where people can come and dance and stay and do everything. But at the end, we had a great, yeah, so like you can see, it's beautiful. And the view. And this is it. From the street, you see nothing. You see something. They call it Centre de l'Architecture en Terre. Yeah, it comes. I built in less than 3 months my first museum. That happened. That happened. And this is the same techniques, but we put more money. So you have glasses, and it changed totally things. And one again, this is where the most tourists are going now from around the world, because Mopti is a great city, and now they go there. And that is what I'm talking about, the ceiling. Made by clay and a little engineering. This is one of the projects I'm going to talk about very quick. While I was doing Bamako and Mopti, I had to deal with these artists. In 2009, I was in South Africa to give a lecture like that. And after the lecture, somebody came and said to me, Francis, you're coming from Germany. I am from the Goethe Institute, the German Institute of Culture. We have a great German artist. His name is Christoph Schlingensief. He's going to die. And he has a dream. He wants to build an opera in Africa. So I listened to him, and I went back to Germany, and I forgot it, because you know what I'm doing. 3 months later, this person calls me again. He was screaming, Francis, you didn't call Christoph. Christoph is waiting for you. And I said, who is Christoph? The opera project, Francis. So I told you to call him. And I said, oh, I thought it was a joke. I didn't do nothing. But what happened is that I called the guy. He started to speak. 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 Speak and speak and speak and speak. And a certain time I said, stop. And I said to myself, try to be polite, but open. I thought you was affected by cancer and you're going to die. But it's a joke. You have such an energy. Because he was unbelievable. And he started to, yes, that's true, but I'm happy that you called me. And he talk one again. And we had to meet. And we met. He talked about his dream, an opera. And we started to talk about it. The next day, he wanted to have a finished project to publish. I said, but Christoph, I have to know the site. I have to discuss with you how it has to look like. No, I want this and this. And so it came that we started to do a project. And when we was traveling, it was always like that. Through Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Mozambique, everywhere. And he was sick and had a dream. We made the drawings before seeing the site. We wanted to have something like that. And suddenly we found a place where, of course, in Burkina Faso. And this is the site. You can see. And we brought, before we start we brought container, and we had to build. And this is the site today. This is it. He passed away last year in August, and we had to do the project because we already had a sponsor, and the project is most complicated than I am willing to talk about it now, okay? Because I don't want to bore you. But that is it. He fell in love with my way to build, and he wanted to open very quick a class in Gando, but I said, no, Christophe, I have other sponsors and other people. I cannot open a class of music or something in Gando. It's too small for you. And we build it like that, you can see. Some hours before inauguration, we had to do all of that because when I was working with him, I sat in the plane. I just came somewhere in the US. I got a call from my office that Christophe flew to Burkina Faso and waiting for me there, and I have to be the next day there. So that happened that I just read somewhere that we have an inauguration in 5 days, for example, and I have to deliver everything. He was crazy, a crazy artist, but very, very intelligent. It's a great performer. You cannot imagine what happened to us. But I think I benefit a lot from the project. Even use the chance, the opportunity to transform it to something useful, like that. So different, one prototype with different form inside. A sound studio, dealing with a landscape like that, with less means. Workshops, and those are projects that are coming to me. Some, like the park, helped me to finance an office. I am not working anymore alone, and even not in the kitchen, like you saw in the movie of Mazia. I left my kitchen in 2005. I had a small office, and now I have something like 5 persons working with me. And projects like the park or what I'm now doing, the International Red Cross Museum in Geneva is feeding this office. Those projects in Africa are still social focused. That means there is not a lot of money, but you got a lot from the people. And you got the chance to make experimentation, what you cannot do everywhere else. I can say to everybody here, just try to do it. You will be surprised. Look at this, very quick. I wanted to have a library in Gando because we have almost eight children in Gando. Their parents cannot afford to give to everybody a book. Me either, because I have normal office in Berlin. What I earn, I invest in the office. So we cannot pay the books. But when we have a place where we put the books that can get it, that is the idea of the library. And this is the first school, the extension, teacher housing, the old school is still there, so you have the comparison. No. And this is the library. Yes, I start because I was trained, not in a high quality school like this, but I was trained in a school of architecture. And I started the project with ideas. This is a simulation, what it has to be, like you can see. And then inside. You have an idea, and you have to follow this idea. Look at what I do with a project like this. So we start to do the project to fix everything, like you can see. And myself, I have to conduct, you know. Sometimes when I'm working, I think I am something like an orchestra director. I have a lot of creative people I have to lead, so I have to do a lot. And you can see it somewhere here. But this is great because in my home country, more you get white, more important you are. So it's good. And that's what we do. While we're thinking about technology and things, there are other things my people are used to do. They know how to make the bricks. So they know how to work themselves to be part of the project. They do like that. You can see. To bring the bricks. Still today. To the site. And believe me, it is like a social event. And everybody in the village, even the children, want to be part of it. And while they're doing it, while they're doing what they're able to do, I am looking for other new ideas. In every building, I put new innovation. That's what I'm talking about it. This, you find it like that. You go with the women, they bring it, like you can see, at school. And you mark them, you cut them, you check them, it's good. You start a production. You put them, it's become a big factory now. You put them on top of the building. So your people come, you put concrete, and you have this, and you have this, and you have this. This is the last project I'm working on. And by the end of this month, we will be finished with very, very simple techniques, less means, and with a lot of people. High school for Gando is the next one we start when we finish the library, and it's something like that. And by the way, this project won the regional Holcim Gold Award for Middle and Africa. And even those prizes help to keep the office. So, and this is what we intend to do with this project. And you can see what we follow. Natural ventilation, using very simple techniques. We was inspired by techniques from Persia. So these are canal ventilation, and we will try to transform it for my region, to transform the site. That is the last project. So I'm finished. Thank you for listening and for coming. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Maybe answer some questions.
Yeah. Thank you.
I know there'll be the discussion tomorrow, but I hope that for those of you who won't be there tomorrow, you might like to engage Francis in one or two questions. Francis, why don't you come here? There's somebody who wants to ask you a question. Or maybe you can stand there since you have a microphone.
Yeah.
Can you wait for the microphone that's behind you? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can you introduce yourself, by the way?
I'm Jacob. I'm a professor in African Studies. I'm happy to have you here, and I have really enjoyed this presentation. This is my first time in the School of Architecture. In terms of this African Renaissance that our politicians and our folks are talking about, I consider it to be perhaps the most important thing. So my question is for you, is it possible somehow for you to establish a kind of a school of architecture in either Burkina Faso or somewhere in West Africa, maybe ECOWAS-based, where you will be able to teach African students in the university or pre-university setting to kind of learn what you're doing so that you can ultimately produce more people who will, follow. Most of us are looking at how we can raise the next generations of scholars, architects, and so on. So what do you say to that?
Thank you for the question. can I be honest, a little honest to you? Yes. Bring me the money and I will build you a school of architecture. That is the fact. This is great, but you see that I'm fighting myself to finance my project, and it is great when I listen to that. It's so great because I feel proud. I see that my work is appreciated, but the little problem what we see is who is going to finance this? And I think this is great maybe in 60 years. Yeah. To be honest, the problem is you fight, so you're happy when you finish a school for 60,000 euro, and you want me to go higher and build a university and lead it. So, but I understand that there is a need. We have in West Africa only one, French-speaking West Africa, we have only one architecture school. There is a big need, I know, and I really appreciate that you see me as that, but you see me higher. It's great, but the problem is the way in between, is the money, and then I need more than what I need for my own project. Is okay? Yeah. Yo.
You started your presentation by showing the emulation shown by what the government wanted to build, and it was inappropriate. Does your building teach people how to build differently? I mean, is the building in itself an education tool? Yeah. And do you see people building their house differently and starting to have infrastructure in a different way as well? Because that's the biggest challenge, even here, yeah, I must say.
Yeah. This is the question. First, before I started, I trained my people. I trained my staff to be able to understand what I was going to do and to be able to do it. So this staff nowadays is able to follow project from other project where I just made the drawings and go to the site and discuss with them, they do it. And in this project, we try to teach people like happening now in Togo. They just try to train other people there. This is the part of it, but so I will discourage you by saying that every people in Burkina start to build like what I'm doing. It is, I think we need a transformation, need time. And maybe one time that will be possible, but of course I am adding education. Education is one of an important part in my work. Even in the big project for His Highness the Aga Khan, it was the idea that people learn new ways to work, but it needs time. Yeah. But to be honest, sometimes I don't want people to start to copy, but reproduce. By the teacher housing project, I was tired in 2003, and I left the village saying to my brothers and the people, don't try to reproduce it. And to my relative, I said, there is a danger. When you don't protect it, it can collapse. And I went back to Berlin, and I went there 4 months later, and I was going in the city, and suddenly I saw in the city close to Gando the vault, a piece of the teacher housing. I looked to it, I went back to the village, and I asked my brother, oh yes, we made it. We built it in 4 months for somebody who was coming every day. He wanted to have it. And they just did it. But this remained a small exception. But it showed that the enthusiasm, that people, the desire to have these new things is there. It is there, really. Is the answer of your question?
So I think we'll be able to engage Francis more intimately over some drinks and snacks, and maybe that's the way to proceed.
Okay.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.